Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. And how do you do? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. And God loves you. Woo, woo. That's right. He woke you up this morning, and He woke me up this morning, gave us the gift of life to say rise for a special reason just for today. And that is to apply spiritual principles to all earthly matters. And when you do that, you will give him the honor, the praise, the glory, the hallelujah, and the worship. And most importantly, the acknowledgement. Our Creator knows that we need him. Oh, but he wants us to want him. And oh my God, I want him like nothing else that exists. So, welcome to the Free to Hope conversation with Edwina B. That's right, Miss Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. And I thank you for joining in to this Free to Hope from Recovery Emerge Empowered so that we can give hope to others, help others prosper equally. So let me start off by saying that I have some special guests on my upcoming event on April the 27th. Yes. And so my special guest is going to be, yes, Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long. You know, it's a beautiful thing when you have someone at her level who is just as humble as she can possibly be. She and I met years ago when she was in the community doing the Narcan training, the behavioral health, the mental illness consortium, mental health consortium. And she was a pillar, and she is a pillar in our community. And so, one of the things I love about Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long, who is now running for the governor position, is that she cares. Not only does she care, she shows that she cares. And so, as a result of her and I building our relationship over the years, when I worked in the mayor's office as the executive director of the enterprise community, we sat on many panels together, and we were able to participate in many discussions and seminars and events, right? Just to share her perspective from the professional world with those suffering from co occurring disorders and people like me who suffer from co occurring disorders, right? So when you have a person who've experienced co occurring disorders like myself, coupled with a professional who knows. She's a registered nurse. She's a doctor, and no, she's not a registered. Well, she is a nurse, but she's also I don't think she's a doctor. She's a registered nurse, right? And she's of course lieutenant governor right now. And so when you have someone who for the reasons that are personal to her, and she'll tell you her story too when she appears as my special guest on the 27th. And so I look forward to sharing Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall along with you on my event on April the 27th, right? I'm so tired of being broken and broke, right? Also, Dr. J. Macklin, Academy for Peace, will be my special guest as well. Now, Dr. J. Macklin has a morning show right? And I forget what hers is called. Come on in the room or Morning Coffee with God, I think it is. But the title Academy of Peace shows where she is and has been about for years. And I met her years ago again as the executive director for the enterprise community. And before then, when I would be on Channel 28 and I would write articles for the News Journal about my addiction and my recovery. And more recently, when I started doing my podcast, she was one of the first ones to join every morning, and she is just so spiritually enlightened about how God has used me. But the same goes for her. I am so enlightened how God has used her as well. And so she's going to be one of my special guests on April the 27th, because she is going to share with you how her challenges with being broken and broke has elevated her to a level of freedom that she will briefly share with you on the 27th, right? And finally, my special guest besides you will be Apostle A.J. Harding. Yes, yes, yes. He's a gospel writer, and he has a CD out, and the songs that he has written and he raps about has touched my soul in so many ways and has elevated my spirit in so many ways. And I have used him throughout the years as a speaker for my youth group in Baltimore, and as well as here on Channel 28, right? But I want to say that with AJ Harding, he's like a son to me, because his mother, for whatever God had the reason, allowed her to die in her addiction from mental illness and substance abuse. But what he has done through her to him has been extraordinary. And he too will share with you briefly his brokenness and being broke, and how that has motivated him to become to put down the drugs. As a drug dealer, he'll tell you to put down the street life, right? And to pick up, right, the gospel, so that he can share with you his brokenness and being broke. And one of the songs that I love the most that he will sing for us or rap for us is Victory is Mine. Victory is mine. And so I wanted to share this information with you, because I'm just gonna be very, very honest. And it has, because I always am. And it has to do with my procrastination, my laziness, and I'm still getting better with that. But not the sales, but the registration has been low. But I always share that if it's one, two, three, four people in the room, I will be happy. But let me tell you why I believe the registration is low. It's because I haven't done my part in actually going out to institutions, organizations, rehabs, facilities, transitional houses where people with co occurring disorders are. So I take the blame for that, or I take full responsibility for that. And so even though I have this week and next week, I'm going to definitely put the fire under me. That's one thing about being authentic and transparent, is when I take responsibility of things that I should be held accountable for. But for those who have registered, thank you. Those who have agreed to be a vendor, thank you. For those who have agreed to be a sponsor, thank you. And I also want to thank my pastor, uh, Dr. Christopher Allen Bullock, for allowing me to utilize the Hall of Faith for this event, because he is part of my story as well in terms of my religious affiliation. And so, most importantly, I want to thank my God, right, for preparing me from underneath a parked car 34 plus years ago in the streets of Philadelphia, getting high and doing all kind of sexual things for my stepson. And after my life flashed before me, I hollered out for him, who I didn't know, to take me out this life or show me a better way. And so, as a result of him doing that, right, he has availed to me many spiritual tools and resources to help with a psychic change, putting down the drugs, putting down the alcohol, putting down prostitution and all of its related attitudes, ideas, behaviors, and actions, right? I was introduced and I was willing to accept the life before me now that I asked for help from above so that I can achieve my destiny, so that I can be prepared for what He has yet for me to do. And so, one of our 12-step program literature says the promises we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. And so, everything that has happened to me since I can remember, there were contributing factors, there were circumstances, there were situations, and there were people who contributed. But I also needed to take responsibility and be held accountable for the decisions and choices I made. Okay. And so now that I know that there's nothing wrong with me, but that there was plenty that happened to me, these spiritual tools and resources has set me free from recovery, emerge empowered to give hope to others. Now, the other thing that I want to share with individuals who are on the borderline, whether they should or shouldn't come, I try to set up a virtual way, and all I can say is that who will attend, and I will continue to do what I didn't do. What I need to do is to get on the battlefield and go to various organizations, agencies, and pass out my flyers, introduce myself, and so that if the room is full, that'd be great. If the room is just there with a few people, that's even great as well, because my God will send those who need the message, but I need to do my part in getting the information out. So when I think about the brokenness and being broke, I can honestly say underneath that parked car, I was just so tired of being broken and broke. And so my knee bowing experience came from that day on February the 22nd of 1990. And as a result, these 34 plus years has been filled with enlightenment, has been filled with spiritual wisdom, has been filled with situations and circumstances that I get to apply and practice spiritual principles to all these earthly matters. So if you are on the fence, I just ask you, think about it, consciously or unconsciously. Do you think you're broken and broke? Are you one of individual who wonder if there's something wrong with you, right? Opposed to trying to find out what happened to you. And this free seminar does that. So we are going to have some written exercises. We're going to have a presentation. We're going to have a testimony. We're going to have what we call information, so that you can be challenged with, am I broken and am I broke? And that's the first thing of being set free, is admitting to our deficiencies, admitting to our character defects, whether consciously or unconsciously, right? And so if you do not feel that you are fulfilling your purpose, you are walking in your destiny, you are, being slow to move, you have become complacent, you have become comfortable, and there's a whole world out there yet to be discovered, and only we can set ourselves free by getting the help that is available. All right. And so, again, one of the uh, events that's going to occur is having someone like Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long, who talks about the mental illness of every human being, because all human beings are ill to some extent, and the fact that she has information and she has statistics, right, that could shed some light on the growing phenomenal increase of mental challenges, mental illness. And many of you know that May is Mental Health Month. But I want to plant the seed before May, which is why I'm having it on April the 27th. You also may know that I am a certified trainer for Narcan. And so through Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long, she is going to give an update of the opiate reduction from fentanyl, right? The deaths have decreased here in Delaware. And so one of the things that I learned in my 12-step program is, what is it about us as human beings that we don't want to reveal things that are ailing us? What is it about us as human beings that don't want to share the secrets? What is it about us that we are so fearful of being judged and criticized, right? And so when we have those we don't want to reveal nothing, then we seek outside substances to try to drown, to try to forget, to try to avoid dealing with our true feelings, right? And we also need to know, and I found out that feelings aren't facts. They are our perspectives, and we need to evaluate. We need to conduct surgery. We need to analyze, what is it about her? What is it about him? What is it about that situation that pisses me off? What is it about her or him in that situation that I envy, that I'm jealous about? What is it about me that I don't like? My looks, my weight. What is it? What is it? I need to find out. And so, as long as we, as human beings, look at things from a humanistic point of view, we will always get the humanistic response and answer, when in fact we are spiritual beings encased in this body. So we are human beings, right? And so because of my humanness and all of the choices and decisions I made along the way, and all of the contributing factors aided in me becoming broken and broke. And so I no longer want to conceal things that I need to reveal in order for me to heal. So when I say to you, I have no secrets, I have no secrets. When I say to you that I love me today, I even like me today, right? It's because it is true. The fact that I can come to you at times just the way I am, the fact that I can be authentic and transparent to the best of my ability, will let you know that I am set free. From recovery, I've emerged empowered to give hope to others. And so, as a result of the spiritual tools and resources that I've used along the way, my job, my obligation, and now my honor is to share them with you. All right. So let's go to our lesson for today in terms of the daily reflection. Okay. So you know that Free to Hope is what I'm promoting, right? My brokenness came on February 22nd of 1990. As a result of my brokenness at the age of 34, it was not too late for me to ask for help and to get the help that I need spiritually. So I'm now 68 years old, and I thank my God for being on sacred time and not secular time. As a result of me walking in my destiny and being prepared for things yet to come after my knee-bound experience, I have been encouraged, and I have been empowered to be an author, a columnist writer, a transformational speaker. I received my master's degree in human service. I'm now obtaining my doctorate degree in biblical studies just to learn more about the God who met me, delivered me, and prepared me from underneath the parked car. Yes, I am an entrepreneur, free to hope, and I also have a testimonial clothing line. I am a model and an actress. The biggest blessing is being a caregiver of 9 family members. I'm the proud grandmother of 8, and my children, Dr. Dwight Kenneth Dockery and Kenesha Treasure Dockery, are the manifestation of me getting better, right? And so the event that I'm having will show you. This is my book that I wrote, From Crack to Christ. It's my first spiritual tool that I use. You see the before, during, and after on my book, right? In high school, I had aspirations. In the middle is a 14-year addiction, and the last picture is when I received my master's degree. And this is so important because one of the things that I will be presenting to you on April the 27th is a book, and it's going to encourage you to start recording journal entries about your day, your thoughts, your fears, your hopes, your dreams, aspirations, right? Your challenges, your obstacles, because I did not know my God was going to publish my journal, but I'm so glad he did, right? And so my newest book that I'm in the process of completing, and it will be available in one way, shape, form, or fashion on the 27th, is I'm So Tired of Being Broken and Broke, using spiritual tools and resources to have an unlimited amount of spiritual breakthroughs. Okay, so let's get to the reading for today, for April the 15th, right? From the Daily Reflection of Alcoholics Anonymous. And many of you know I go to my meetings every day in one way, shape, form, or fashion. And this is a great topic. The bondage of resentments, right? The bondage of resentments. So I do have a little error there, but guess what? The title is The Bondage of Resentments. And so our co-founder writes, harboring resentment is infinitely grave, for then we shut ourselves off from the sunlight of the spirit, as Bill sees it, page 5. The person in recovery shares their perspective, and they write, it has, wait a minute. It has been said, anger is a luxury I cannot afford. Does this suggest I ignore this human emotion? I believe not. Before I learned of the AA program, I was a slave to the behavior patterns of alcoholism. I was chained to negativity with no hope of cutting loose. The steps offered me an alternative. Step 4 was the beginning of the end of my bondage. The process of letting go started with an inventory. I needed not be frightened, for the previous steps assured me I was not alone. My higher power led me to this door and gave me the gift of choice. Today, I can choose to open the door to freedom and rejoice in the sunlight of the steps as they cleanse the spirit within me. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Now, when we talk about the bondage of resentment, so what contributes and have contributed and will continue to contribute to our brokenness and being broke is resentments, our resentments. And so let me ask you, do you have resentments? Of course you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do. Listen, you do. And so the first response to a question like that is no. And you say no without even thinking. And so that's why the 4th step is so important. When we go back and take a fearless and searching more inventory of ourselves, Are the behaviors, attitudes, and ideas that I exhibit now, are they the result of some resentments from the past, from recently? Am I frustrated and disgusted with this, that, right? And is that the result of some resentments that I have? I know that when I came into recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous, I knew I had some resentments, but I didn't understand to the level I understand now how resentments kept me in bondage, right? And so when it says here, and in the reading, it says here, harbor resentments is infinitely grave, for then we shut ourselves off from the sunlight of the spirit. And so with my humanness and being a part of this earthly journey, there are things that happen to me. There are things that I did to others. There were things that were said to me. There were things that I said to others. And in actuality, I received resentments. And guess what? I also generated resentments, right? And so people have a right, just like I do, to feel the way that they feel, right? And so for people with the disease of alcoholism, I'm just going to say for all human beings, we cannot afford the luxury of resentments. Why? Because of what it says here. It says harboring resentments is infinitely grave, for then we shut ourselves off from the sunlight of the spirit. And see where the sixth step of Alcoholics Anonymous come into play. It says that we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. And so when I take this inventory and when I do my fifth step and I admit to God, who already knows, to myself, I already know, and to another human being, the exact nature of where those resentments started, right? And to find out that there's nothing wrong with me, but there was plenty that happened to me, and resentments was at the top of the list. I resented my father. I resented my mother. I resented my siblings. I resented my extended family. I resented the community. I resented. But guess what I found out? The biggest resentment I had was against me. Yes. The biggest resentment I had was against me. Because there's a time in our lives where we say to ourselves, is this all it is about? What happened to me? Why didn't I aspire to be this? Why didn't I accomplish this? Why didn't I take that chance? Why didn't I do that? Why, right? And those questions begin to like make me feel worthless and helpless and hopeless. And I resent myself for not taking the opportunity and chances. And guess what? I didn't even know, because they were from other people, other situations, other circumstances. And my fear, I had to get in touch with my fear. So instead of facing everything and recover, which is an acronym for fear, and the other acronym for fear is forget everything and run, right? And so the biggest resentment I had was against myself, right? And so when I did my inventory, I got in touch with how deep my resentments with me were and where they started with other people. So the person in recovery says, it has been said that anger is a luxury I cannot afford. Does this suggest I ignore this human emotion? No. From what I understand and read in the scriptures, my God, got angry, right? And so it is a human emotion. But this is the question. Oh, you saw that, right? This is the question that followed. I believe not. Before I learned of the AA program, I was a slave to the behavior patterns of alcoholism. And I'm going to say I was a slave to the pattern of being human. Lying, stealing, manipulating. Yes, all of those things, right? All of those things that plagued me when I was in the situation that I found myself in. And as a result of finding myself in those situations, I had to get honest with myself. I had to be transparent and authentic. Yes, yes, I cannot afford these things that my humanness has created. The Ruiz family talks about it in the Five Agreements about domestication, right? I learned through the scriptures where the 12 spiritual principles came from that, I cater to my humanness, not really understanding the spiritual aspect of things, right? And so now this race, I was chained to negativity with no hope of cutting loose. The steps offered me an alternative. Step 4 was the beginning of the end of my bondage. The process of letting go started with an inventory. I needed not be frightened, for the previous steps assured me I was not alone. My higher power led me to this door and gave me the gift of choice. Today, I can choose to open the door to freedom and rejoice in the sunlight of the steps. So basically, listen. When you are sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of not just things and people, but of you, when you get in touch with your brokenness and being broke, right? Right? What you going to do about it? And so our higher power, who I choose to call God, still gives us a choice. Are you willing to pick up the spiritual tools and the resources that are available for you to experience heaven here on earth? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes, this is the only body I have. This is the body that spirits occupy and use, right? And so I've learned to, right, avail myself to the fruit of the spirit, to the 12-step spiritual program, to the spiritual transformation that's available through the 5 agreements, through the gospel songs that I listen to that feed my spirit and not my flesh. Yes, and so if you are broken and broke, you need to be set free. Or I say it this way, I suggest you allow yourself to be set free. People don't like to be told what to do, right? And so I'm going to, say one more time, right? One more time, that this is the event that's going to either set the stage for you to walk in your purpose, right? For you to be right, prepared for things yet to come. And so I encourage you, I implore you. But guess what? I can only make the suggestion for you to attend this event and to be in the room with others who are broken in their way, but look what they too have accomplished, right? And so go to eventbrite.com, free to hope Inc., right? You can be an individual or a group, and it's free. If you are a service provider and you want to have a table to set up to distribute your information or to provide on-site services, please. It's $150, and guess what? That's minimum to what is available for the people you can help. And if you want to sponsor the event, please do so as well. So let me close by saying I am no longer a slave to King Alcohol. I practice every day to apply these spiritual principles to all earthly matters so that not only do I not give them power to make me go back to drinking, but to steal my joy as well. And so I love the fact that I am who I am. Miss Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops doesn't matter, but I know who I am and whose I am. And I know that my God wants me to share with you what he has done for me that he can do do for you with your brokenness and being broke. So I'm getting ready to go to my meeting. Y'all know that, right? So I love you. You love me. We are one big family with a great. I hurt my shoulder. Big hug and a gift from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? I love you. God does too. And guess what? I know you love me. I know. Have a blessed day. Be of service to others. And if it's God's will that we all rejoin tomorrow, we will be here. During the day, I will be doing some TikTok, some Instagram, and some Facebook Live just to remind you to register. Be blessed.